Hello everybody, welcome back, Silverplay speaking. I'm back with another card review for the Ashes of Outland. This time we're going to be talking about Paladin. We're going to have a look at the cards that they've been given and we're going to see if they have anything good. As you know, Paladin are top tier in Arena at the moment, so this expansion could really impact on how they place. They probably are still going to be top tier after taking a little peek at Twitter, so you never know. But let's get right to it. And as you know, I'm going to be marking these cards 1 out of 5 stars as usual. 1 being really bad, 5 stars being bonkers. Anyway, let's get to it. So the first card that we are looking at is this 2 mana buff card. So it's called the Hand of Adal. It's a common and it gives a minion +2/+2 draw a card. Now I think this card is pretty insane because not only are you buffing it, but you're also giving yourself a draw, which is so important in Arena. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough, especially with Paladin, because I feel like you can run out of steam so quickly with Paladin. And so I think this card is actually really good. It's so much better than Mark of the Wild, which basically does the same thing, but instead it gives you a minion taunt. It doesn't give you that card draw value. So I think this is quite top notch. I think this is a 5-star card easily. Alright, so the next card we're looking at is a Murloc by the looks of things. It's a 1 mana 2/1. It's called the Imprisoned Sungill. And he is going to be dormant for 2 turns. So as you remember, it's on your turn and your opponent's turn, and then he wakes up on your turn 2. So if you play him on turn 1, of course. And when it awakens, it summons 2 1/1 Murlocs. Now the reason why this is really strong is because when you start that 2 mana turn, you're going to have this Murloc plus 2 1/1s and 2 mana to play around with. And in Arena, that is pretty crazy. Also, what I really love about this card is the fact that your opponent can't stop it, because when a card is dormant, you can't target it, you can't remove it, it is there, and your opponent kind of just have to deal with it. They kind of just have to leave it be, because you can't stop a dormant card. So I think this is pretty solid. I think this is also a 5-star card because early game, it just gives you that impact. Like, you swarm the board from the get-go, and that is something that you really need to do when you're Paladin. Yeah, I really like it. And you've got the Murloc synergy as well. Sorry, I'm just going to move my cat. Right, so the next card that we are going to be looking at is Murloc. Sorry. This is a legendary, so we're probably very unlikely to see it, but it's a 2 mana 2/1 with Divine Shield, so it's a little bit worse than Shield Minibot. However, it has a death rattle, and the death rattle is shuffle Murloc Prime into your deck, and we're just going to see who that is. So this is a 8 mana legendary. It has Divine Shield. It's a 6/3, so stat-wise not that great. However, the battle cry is kind of insane. So the battle cry is summon 4 random Murlocs and give them Divine Shield. To me, this is pretty spectacular because for 8 mana, you are getting 5 minions, all with Divine Shield, and they are all Murlocs as well. And as you know, Murlocs like to kind of synergize with each other, so it's always a card that's going to give a Murloc a buff, or you're going to get more legendaries. There's so many Murlocs you can get that are really good. I think this is a really solid card, and I think if you were to get this in Arena, that 8 mana card could really help you have a comeback. Say you are top decking and you've lost your board, this can just take you there. This will help you come back into the game. I think it's so strong, and I think this is why I'm giving it a 5-star. It is pretty bonkers, I have to say. So the next card we have is Libum of Justice. So this is a 6 mana common. It's a spell. It gives you a 1/4 weapon and it changes the health of all enemy minions to 1. The reason why I think this card is really good is because not only are you reducing the enemy's health to 1, you are equipping a 1/4 weapon, so it allows you to ping away some really big cards that people may play. I think it's really good value for what it is. I don't think it's super strong because of the mana cost, but obviously it's still a form of removal that Paladin needs, and because obviously Paladin's quite a swarm like class, like you always have these recruits and so forth, you're always going to have something on board to remove your opponent's minion with, or even if you're behind, again, that 1/4 weapon just helps you out so much. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's a 4-star though. I think, of course, because of the mana cost, you don't really have much mana left over to play a minion, so that's why I'm a bit meh. But it's still really, really good. Like, I wouldn't overlook it if I was offered this card in Arena. Right, so the next card we have is the Library of Wisdom. It's a 2-mana rare. I love the art style of this. I think it's absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to see this in golden as well. Like, her eyes just shine. But the effect is give a minion +1/+1 and Death Rattle. Add a Library of Wisdom spell to your hand. Now, there is a card in Hunter that does exactly the same thing, which makes me believe Hearthstone may be running out of ideas. But if I recall correctly, that card wasn't really picked that often in Arena. When it was played as well, I don't think it did amazingly well. It wasn't game breaking. It was just a really unusual card. I don't think it's that great. I think it's very mediocre. I think this is a 3-star card in my head, even. Yeah, I don't think it's anything above a 3 because I think it's very mediocre. I don't think it's that great. I don't think it's awful either. That's why I haven't really given it a 2. I don't think it's going to see a lot of play. Yeah, I'm not that fussed on it, to be honest. So the next card we have is a 5-mana 4/6 taunt. Okay, so the stats are pretty nice. As you know, I'm a fan of stats. It's called Aldor Truthseeker, and the battle cry is reduce the cost of your librams by 2 this game. Right. And it's not like in your hand or in your deck, so this is like throughout the whole game. That's really good. I quite like it. So say you cast this afterwards, this would be 0 mana. And then, sorry, my cat needs to be moved again. I'm going to have to feed her after this video. Yeah, so this would be like a 0 mana buff every turn. It's interesting. And this one's a Library of Justice, so this is going to be reduced by 2. So this is 4 mana. Okay. So this is good. Luckily it's a rare, so obviously you're not going to always see that synergy played against you, but I think it's really strong. Like, if you have this card plus a couple of Librams and you manage to draw this before your Libram spells, I think it's really strong. But obviously in Arena you don't always get that synergy. You're not always that lucky. So I think for me this is a 4-star card. I think it has the potential to be 5 stars, but I think that'd be pushing it. I think I'm happy with 4 stars because it's pretty strong, and even just objectively as a 5-mana 4/6 taunt, I quite like it. So that's a pass for me, definitely. It's just a better Fell Creeper. And then the next one we have is Aldo Attendant. So it's a 2 mana 2/3 common, so you're very likely to see this card, and it reduces the cost of your Librams by 1 this game. So again, the same effect as the last card, but only reduces it by 1, but it's a 2 mana 2/3. Again, it has a really good body on it. I think it has a great effect. Sorry, my cat just wants to sabotage me today. I think this to me is again 4 stars. It has basically the same effect as the last card, and it's a nice card to play on early game as well. Like, this is the type of card you would be looking for on turn 2. It's really solid, and that's why I would be really happy to draft it if I saw it. And then we've got this card left, so it's called the Libram of Hope. It's a 9 mana spell, and it's an epic, so we're probably very unlikely to see it in drafting. So it's restore 8 health, and you get to summon an 8/8 guardian with taunt and divide shield. Now if we were just objectively looking at it and as just a 9 mana spell, then it's okay. It's pretty okay. Like, it gives you health and it summons a taunt, and it would help you come back, say if you were behind. I think it has the potential to be really, really good, especially if you manage to draw those buff cards from earlier where it reduces the mana costs. So imagine if you had that 2 mana cards, this will reduce it by 1, so it'd be 8 mana, restore 8 health, summon an 8/8 with taunt and divine shield. Pretty insane. Imagine if you had the 5 mana card that reduces them by 2. This would be 7 mana, restore 8 health, summon an 8/8. Obviously, this is very situational. As I've always said, I never really rely on synergy in Arena because it doesn't always particularly work out. But I think this is pretty solid. I think, again, this is kind of like a 4-star card in my head. Again, it kind of relies on the synergies, but on its own, it's still pretty good as it is. I think, say you were falling behind and you're a little low on health and you couldn't deal with your opponent's board, you play this spell, you heal up for 8, and you have a minion to protect yourself from some extra damage. So yeah, this is a pretty good card. And then the next we have is Lady Liadrin. So she's a 7 mana 4/6. I'm not a particularly fan. I can't speak today. I'm not particularly a fan of the stats. Like, when you're playing a 7 mana card, you want to play a card that has a decent amount of stats that's going to be able to deal with a potential 7 mana minion or higher. The battle criers add a copy of each spell you cast on friendly minions this game to your hand. So this gives you any card at all. So when it says friendly characters, sorry, not friendly minions, so even spells that you cast to your face, like this one for example, would come back into your hands. But again, I'm basing this more on the stats than anything, because the likelihood of you having loads of buffs is not that great in the arena, and the chance of you playing those buffs before you can probably play her, again, not likely. She's basically a 7 mana 4/6. Put maybe 2 spells in your hands. She's just a bit slow, and the thing is with Paladin, you can't be slow, because I feel as though the moment Paladin slows down, oops, sorry. The moment Paladin slows down is the moment they tend to lose steam, and I think that is so bad for Paladin. So for me, this is a 2-star card, absolutely. So I'm just going to go to the next one. And the last card we have is a 3 mana 3/2. It's an Underlight Angling Rod, it says. It's a epic card, and it's a weapon, which is brilliant because we need weapons. It's a shame it's an epic because we're probably very unlikely to see it in draft. However, after your hero attacks, add a random murloc to your hand. So not only is it a war axe, but it's a war axe that gives you murlocs. So I think this could be really good. Yeah, I like anything that gives you some form of value. Even if you do end up with a Billy, like it's still a minion. You could even end up with one of the new legendary murlocs, which could potentially win you the game. So you never know. I think this card could be pretty good, but also obviously you have to draw into the fact that a lot of murlocs can be very weak as well. But it's removal, so I'm gonna give this a 3-star rating, but it's a very high 3-star rating, but I don't think it's there. I don't think it's near the 4. No, I think it's a 3-star. But anyway, that is all of the cards. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any opinions of your own, please let me know in the comments below, and just let me know what you think if you have the time. Alright, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.